President Sisi praises martyr sacrifices and celebrates Egypt's victory on the 10th of Ramadan. Egypt condemns Israel's electricity cut to Gaza, calling it a humanitarian violation. And the Egyptian hospitals receive the 39th batch of the Palestinian patients. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Qnews and bringing you the latest updates from Egypt. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has attended the 41st educational seminar on Martyrs and Veterans Day held by the military under the theme Noble People. El-Sisi praised the martyrs' sacrifices, celebrated Egypt's victory on the 10th of Ramadan, and reaffirmed Egypt's support for Palestinian rights and a two-state solution. The event, attended by top officials and the families of martyrs, was held at the International Conference Center in New Cairo. Egypt has strongly condemned Israel's decision to cut electricity to Gaza, calling it a blatant violation of international humanitarian law and the Fourth Geneva Convention. In a statement, Egypt's foreign ministry rejected Israel's policy of collective punishment, including blocking humanitarian aid, warning it worsens the crisis. Egypt urged the international community to take immediate action and hold Israel accountable for its ongoing violations. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has affirmed Egypt's commitment to providing essential aid to Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Madbouli met with the IFRC President Kate Forbes, condemning Israeli restrictions on aid to Gaza during Ramadan. He praised Egypt-IFRC cooperation and reaffirmed Egypt's commitment to providing urgent relief and supporting Gaza's reconstruction. Since the ceasefire, Egypt has sent more than 7,000 aid trucks and supplied 70% of the total aid. He also emphasized Egypt's support for the Sudanese refugees. A new batch of 14 injured Palestinians, along with 20 companions, have arrived in Egypt through the Rafah crossing. This is the 39th batch of the patients being transferred to Egyptian hospitals for medical treatment. The total number of Palestinian casualties arriving at the Egyptian hospitals since the evacuation operations began has exceeded 1,500, with 2,100 companions accompanying them. The Minister of Social Solidarity, Maya Morsi, has discussed the Egyptian Red Crescent's role in Gaza since October 2023. This came during her meeting with the President of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, Kate Forbes. Forbes commended Egypt's efforts, particularly in coordinating humanitarian aid. Morsi highlighted Egypt's substantial contributions, particularly through volunteers, and stressed the need for continued international cooperation to address the growing humanitarian crisis in Gaza and Sudan, including medical support for victims. Health Minister Khaled Abdel Ghaffar has discussed with the representative of the United Nations Children's Fund in Egypt, Natalie Mayer, ways to cement cooperation on healthcare, nutrition, and mental health. Both sides explored advancing Egypt's health system and supporting Palestinians in Gaza. They also discussed enhancing cooperation on the Golden 1,000 Days initiative to improve early childhood development and reproductive health. And the Foreign Minister, Badr Abdelati, has met with the EU Special Representative, Annette Weber, to enhance the Egypt-EU cooperation in securing the Horn of Africa. Abdelati emphasized Egypt's commitment to peaceful conflict resolution, counter-terrorism efforts, and Sudan's sovereignty. He also highlighted Egypt's diplomatic mediation and support for Somalia's stability. Weber praised Egypt's role as a key regional stabilizer and reaffirmed the EU's commitment to Red Sea security and Horn of Africa stability. Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati also met with the new UN Special Representative to Libya, Hana Ettita. Abdelati congratulated her on her new position and expressed Egypt's commitment to supporting her efforts in Libya, emphasizing cooperation to find a sustainable solution led by the Libyans themselves. He reiterated Egypt's ongoing efforts to facilitate dialogue, respect state institutions, and push for scheduled elections while calling for the withdrawal of foreign forces. Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati also discussed with the Comorian counterpart ways to enhance bilateral ties, economic cooperation, and regional coordination. Abdelati praised the Comorian President Azali Assoumani's participation in the March 4th Arab Summit and reaffirmed Egypt's support for Comoros' development efforts. Both ministers agreed to advance bilateral agreements, encourage Egyptian investment, and continue consultations to strengthen cooperation and regional stability. Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati has spoken with the EU High Representative Kaja Kallas to discuss regional developments, including the Arab Plan for Gaza's recovery and reconstruction. Abdelati briefed Kallas on the outcomes of the recent Arab Summit and Egypt's efforts to host a Gaza reconstruction conference with the Palestinian government and the UN. They also discussed Syria, emphasizing support for its stability and the importance of an inclusive political process for peace. And the Minister of Higher Education, Ayman Ashour, has met with the French Ambassador Éric Chevalier to discuss joint projects, including the new French University campus in Egypt and the Senghor University. Ashour reaffirmed Egypt's commitment to the French Public University project, set to open its first phase by October 2025, focusing on advanced technology. They also discussed the upcoming Egypt-France Scientific Conference and expanding scholarships and research collaboration. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has emphasized micro, small and medium enterprises development agencies' key role in investment and entrepreneurship, stressing financial sustainability. The agency's CEO, Basil Rahmi, outlined a 2025-2031 roadmap to diversify funding and reduce reliance on government support. The agency has created 8,017 jobs through partnerships, and it's expanding SME support in exports, government contracts, and rural projects under the Decent Life initiative. And cooperation with the Ministry of Finance is also enhancing support for SMEs in economic empowerment programs and public procurement. And the Central Bank of Egypt has reported that the country's monthly core inflation stood at 1.6%. This marks a sharp decline from the 13.2% observed in February 2024 and a slight decrease from the 1.7% in January 2025. When viewed on an annual basis, core inflation saw a considerable drop, reaching 10% in February 2025 compared to the 22.6% in January 2025. And that brings us to the end of our news bulletin, and here's what we've been covering. President Sisi praises martyrs' sacrifices and celebrates Egypt's victory on the 10th of Ramadan. Egypt condemns Israel's electricity cut to Gaza, calling it a humanitarian violation. And the Egyptian hospitals receive the 39th batch of Palestinian patients. And that's all for now, and remember to stay updated by following Qnews for the latest developments.